Among communists, a cell meeting is never referred to as such. In the meeting notice, as well as in any conversations pertaining to it, the meeting will be called the swimming party, the barbecue, or by some other prearranged code name. This particular meeting was held a little less than 1 year prior to the House Committee hearings in San Francisco, at which the carefully planned but so-called spontaneous protest demonstrations of the students broke out. My position was as advantageous as it was precarious, as the meeting planned, among other things, the actual blueprints for the student demonstration later to be known as Operation Abolition. My fellow members in the cell did not know that I was an FBI counterspy within the cell, that I was to surface and become the government's witness at the very hearings they were now plotting to discredit and destroy. Some people, including otherwise respected college professors and clergymen, apparently were convinced that those college students erupted in a genuine, spontaneous wave of protest. If it was spontaneous, it was the longest and the most meticulously planned spontaneity in history, for it was born in Moscow, cradled in New York, and nurtured in the shadow of St. Francis and the San Francisco citadels of learning, and so plotted actually years before the House Committee came to town. This meeting, from which you are to hear the reconstructed highlights as based on the sworn and documented testimony, was held at the home of the cell organizer, her party name, Comrade Mary. The scene is a modest home in Palo Alto. Because the location is in proximity to other houses, the meeting is conducted on a relatively quiet basis. The comrades have all parked their cars at least 3 blocks away. They have approached the location slowly and seemingly casually. They walk in pairs, couples, at prescribed 5-minute intervals. Other meetings have been held in a comparative luxury, at a secluded suburban estate belonging to a communist woman of wealth and bourgeois luxury. Still others have been held in public parks at isolated tables. But this is a central location for a hurriedly called meeting. The Venetian blinds have been closed. The telephone has been covered with cushions and pillows as a precaution against possible bugging with a special new device recently developed to bug a house even through a phone that's not off the hook. Comrade Mary is about to speak.
Comrades, as you know, this will be an abbreviated meeting tonight, as we are all to attend the City Council meeting later to carry out our individual assignments with respect to agitating the city officials toward centralized metropolitan government. The courier has collected all dues and assessments. We shall dispense with the party oath in the interest of time, and we will confine our singing tonight to 1 stanza of the requisite Soviet song at the finish. Comrade Harold is the only comrade missing. He will not join us until later down at City Hall, since he is meeting with an interdenominational church group to stimulate circulation of our petitions to end atomic testing. We are honored, comrades, by the surprise presence of Comrade Ed of the District Committee of our party. Comrade Ed has just returned from the National Convention of our party. He asked us to call this special short meeting so as to relay to us the directives, also to pick up reports on our progress in our party assignments. Comrade Ed, welcome to our cell.
Comrades, I have just returned from an extremely successful national convention of our party. The keynote of the proceedings was expressed by Comrade James S. Allen of the Tactic Initiating Committee of our party. Comrade Allen stated, and I quote, "In seeking to chart our road to socialism, we are in a much better position than the Marxists in the period before the Great Russian Revolution." Comrades, this is entirely true. It may now be safely said that we have a hard-hitting, strong, efficient party mechanism exercising control over those who now do our bidding in every walk of American life. By all the evidence, if within the next 3 or 4 years we carry on our work as we are doing it now, we can clearly look forward to a Soviet America. Naturally, we must intensify our efforts if we are to attain all objectives. You are familiar with these objectives, but you must eat, live, and breathe these objectives. You must know them as a priest knows the words of Latin that go with his stupid beads. Let me review the party objectives. First, destroy the House Un-American Activities Committee. And by the way, let me congratulate you for your success in the newspapers and among the broadcasting commentators, where you have in this area most successfully changed the name of that group, that miserable group of reactionary congressmen, from the House Committee on Un-American Activities to the House Un-American Activities Committee. You have followed this directive exactly, with just that one little switch of the words in your letters to the editors and in your conversations. You have made the investigators themselves appear to be the un-Americans. The party is pleased. As you know, the House Committee contemplates holding hearings in San Francisco. We must do everything possible to discredit and ridicule them. In all of our conversations, we must brand this committee as racist, fascist, and anti-Semite. These are the rallying words. By all means, we must expand our influence on the college campuses. Whatever it takes to do it, we must provoke the violence at these hearings. Above all, we must be able to establish a basis for proving police brutality. If we handle this properly, we can agitate an entire nation to rise in indignation. All cells in the district will have this directive. This project must have top priority on our party agenda. Principal activity for coordination will be in the Berkeley-Oakland section. But your comrade here from the Stanford campus must exert every effort in advance to build up support among the Stanford faculty and student body. Second, we all know we must do everything within our power to discredit the FBI. Never overlook an opportunity to refer to police state. In any situation involving discredit in a police department, link it up with the FBI. Third, destroy the Connolly Reservation. I don't have to repeat to you that just one man with these few added words has greatly upset our timetable. Fourth, fight for unilateral disarmament. Believe me, comrades, the easiest argument in the world is peace. Push it at every opportunity. You can't get arrested for preaching peace. Fifth, double up on your backing of the United Nations, particularly in view of the fact that more and more people in America have learned of the connection of Alger Hiss and Leo Pozwalski with the UN. Support is lagging. Try to convince everybody within range of your voice that the only hope for permanent peace lies in the United Nations and its agencies. Naturally, you will vociferously oppose the loyalty oath. You will fight for the recognition of our Chinese comrades. You will do all you can to downgrade stupid nationalistic ceremonies like the flag salute and oppose religion of any kind in the schools. You will work for mental health, for fluoridation of public drinking water. You will continue to drive on all of our local and statewide objectives. Now, the party wishes to alert you to expect increased resistance from the fascist element. Your big problem in the immediate future will not lie in the various organizations where we obviously have achieved control. Your trouble will come from reactionary anti-communist organizations that are springing up. Discredit these people, ridicule them, brand them as fascist, as lunatic fringists, as radical rightist reactionaries, extremists. If we successfully identify these chauvinistic super-patriots with these terms, we can laugh out of existence our greatest immediate stumbling block, the anti-communist movement. I'm anxious now to hear your reports from the PTA, the trade unions, the student groups, etc. But before I conclude, I must mention that the delegates to the National Convention were most happily pleased with the magnificent, tumultuous reception you arranged out here for our great leader, Comrade Nikita Khrushchev, during his visit to San Francisco. The gifts that he had received from the manufacturers, the reception that he was given by the administrative officers of the great city of San Francisco. Believe me, this has helped the party to an immeasurable extent. It was the talk of the convention. It can be said that Comrade Nikita has achieved all of his major objectives in coming to the United States. The greatest of these, of course, was to stimulate, to give our party, so to say, a shot in the arm. His visit made it possible for us to work freely, openly, and with courage once again. It was a great milestone in the progress of our party. It was a large contributing factor to the Soviet America we shall all see and enjoy in the not-too-distant future. Thank you very much for listening, comrades.
There was no applause. There never is in a cell meeting. A communist is trained not to react with outward emotions, but rather with innermost dedication. Comrade Mary proceeded to the reading of the party directive, which urged every member to contribute an assessment of 1 day's pay to the party because of the acceleration of the party's activities. First to respond to this was Comrade Michael, retired university professor and author of textbooks.
Comrades, I am most gratified to contribute not just an additional day's pay, but rather a week's pay to our party. Because of the royalties I am collecting, as all the comrades know, from a book I have written that is being used in the public school curricula all over America, I am able to do this. Our party's position here in America is infinitely better than it was when our leader, Comrade Lenin, was in exile in Switzerland, at which time and place my wife Esther and I enjoyed the monumental privilege of studying under his tutelage. I am honored to make this contribution toward a Soviet America.
Are there any comments from the comrades present? Are there any objections to giving 1 day's pay to our Communist Party? There being no objections, I so order. The courier will collect from each comrade 1 day's pay within the next 3 days. Please do not write any checks. There must be no means of identifying the source of our funds. Now, Comrade Sam, will you give your report to our cell on your activities in the California Democratic Clubs?
I am happy to do so, comrade. I wish to report that within the South Palo Alto California Democratic Club, we have been successful in attaining all of our legislative objectives for the forthcoming convention of the California Democratic Clubs to be held in Fresno. Our principal problem today is to get the Stanford Palo Alto Democratic Clubs, which we do not quite control as yet. Our immediate objective is to unify these into a single club, at which time we will have unchallenged control. I might also say that there is no question in our minds but what all the resolutions we are advocating will be presented, and I think passed, at the Fresno Convention of the California Democratic Clubs. This is due, of course, comrades, to the fact that we have been able to manipulate control of the Resolutions Committee of the Fresno Convention.
Comrade Holland will now give us his report on the activities of himself and the other assigned comrades in the Peaceful Coexistence campaign.
Yes, we have taken important steps forward. As we look at the accruing results of our Peaceful Coexistence campaign, more and more we can foresee the living fulfillment of the statement by our comrade in the Soviet Union, Dmitry Manilewski, to the effect that the United States will cooperate in its own destruction. Our Peaceful Coexistence project is, of course, only a continuation of the class war in a more dignified and subtle manner. If we can maintain the pace of peaceful coexistence, we will indeed put America to sleep. And when their guard is down, as Comrade Manilewski says, we will crush the Americans, stupid and decadent, with our clenched fists. It will please you to know that our comrades within the Friends Service Committee have been successful in calling a conference to end atomic testing. At this conference, which will have about 50 delegates from different organizations, our party will have 18 delegates. We are prepared to present to this conference a whole series of activities. We are sure these will be accepted without opposition. Our plans call for a one-week peace festival, a big rally at Foresters Hall in Livermore, and the circulation of a new circular at the Livermore Atomic Radiation Plant, urging the workers to stop production on atomic energy. We will have a big peace parade in Palo Alto, winding up at the university, Stanford, where our own Professor Sibley will deliver a message to win additional students over to our cause.
Every objective outlined by Comrade Holland became a reality. Following Comrade Holland's report, the cell organizer asked Comrade Doris for her report on activities in the PTA. I want you to listen to this very carefully.
Don't worry about the PTA, comrades. I am able to report that at a meeting of our PTA caucus of our comrades in the different chapters of Santa Clara County, we are positively assured that at the next National Convention of the PTA to be held in San Francisco, our resolution to ban atomic testing will pass, maybe almost unanimously.
This resolution was passed, and very close to unanimously, at the National Convention of the Parent Teachers Association. One more Kremlin-directed objective achieved. But let's listen to Comrade Steve as he replies to the cell chairman's request for his report on trade union activities.
Comrades, the Trade Union Commission of our party in Santa Clara County has been extremely successful in recent months. We have a fine trade union commission representing just about every industrial plant in the area, and we have active party representatives to the Trade Union Council of the AFL-CIO. We have encountered no serious difficulty in presenting and passing most all of the resolutions which represent our immediate objectives. Certainly we figure to continue to be successful with our Lenin doctrine of making every trade union, every factory a fortress of communism. Comrades, I think you all realize the complexity of my activities. Of course, you all know that I, as a ball bearing salesman, have access to every missile plant in the area and to all the feeder plants. I can tell you that one of my contributions to our party is that I know when missiles are fired. I know where they are fired. I know the missile problems such as solid fuels and liquid fuels that we are confronting today. This information that I am gathering daily through my association with the missile industry is indeed valuable to our Communist Party. In fact, my experience goes on.
That'll be enough, comrade. You are grossly out of order.
The cell organizer could stand no more of Comrade Steve's bragging. Effective as his missile espionage had been, she declared emphatically that this was information not to be revealed to a cell, but to a higher body. She admonished Comrade Steve, then threatened him with referral to the Disciplines Committee, a body which ruthlessly punishes communists who deviate. Order was quickly restored, and Comrade Mary then said,
Comrade Dick will now give his report on what arrangements have been made for a section committee meeting of our party in Santa Clara County.
Yes, comrade. We have made all the proper arrangements for the section committee meeting, and we look forward to the most successful such meeting in recent years. The meeting, comrades, will be held at Smolny Institute.
It isn't often that laughter is heard at a communist cell meeting. The remark that triggered the laughter here was the fact that Smolny Institute, prior, during, and ever since the Russian Revolution, has been the agitation propaganda headquarters of the Communist International and is located in the Soviet Union. But the Smolny Institute referred to in this instance is the City Hall of Sunnyvale, California. For more than 10 years, the communists had been holding their conspiratorial meetings there, in a banquet room of this building, just below the headquarters of the police department. Where are the communists meeting in your community? But let's listen again to the cell organizer as she brings the meeting to a close.
And so we must be on our way, comrades, to City Hall for the meeting on metropolitan government. I am sure you are all well prepared for this meeting, so I'll ask the comrades to leave in couples, at intervals of 3 minutes, upon the conclusion of our song. So workers, close your ranks, keep sharp and steady, for Lenin's cause your red is bright. For the workers' fatherland, the Soviet Union, get ready for the last fierce fight, Red Front.
This, fellow Americans, is the communist conspiracy as it operates in your community. Only the people are different. The directives are the same. Don't expect it to dry up and blow away or to dissipate itself. It will indeed take patriots, super patriots, working in an intelligent and orderly yet aggressive manner to destroy this vicious yet subtle atheistic plot to take over, or is it hand over, our nation to red fascism.